All right, I'm going to give you my opinion on the very popular and controversial supplement out right now, Turkesterone. So it's been around since 1975, so it's been around for a while, discovered. It's been used in Olympic settings. It's found in Asia, Siberia, around that area. It seems to have some pretty good properties as far as muscle protein synthesis, maybe recovery, even mimicking some sort of erythropoietin as like in animals. However, again, that's kind of controversial because again, it's an animal, we're humans. So this turkesterone, also it's plant derivative, the RAS is steroid, and we're human, we're not a plant again. So there's a lot of hype behind it, and some people love it, some people don't. If you take it, are you natural? Are you not natural? So what's my opinions on it? Well, it was first populated as far as like now, right? So the past few years, it's become popular again. This is due to Derek from More Plates, More Dates, from his YouTube channel and his supplement company, Gorilla Mind. So he goes back into a lot of research about it, anecdotal evidence, and he seems to really approve it and he likes it as far as like a safer option from other substances that can help with promoting a better environment for your muscle to grow via protein synthesis. So since then, we've had a few other companies actually use the same tactic to sell and market the turkesterone and dosing it the same amount as far as the extract percentage. I don't really know if that's the same amount in a lot of them. Typically, I do go to other websites to find out the information, and the website that I go out to kind of compare what is going on in the supplement industry is PricePlow.com. So, I mean, for example, like Turkesterone by Raw Nutrition, it's going to be a very popular one out right now as well, because of the price point. So it's $39.99, whereas I think Derek, More Place, More Dates, his is like maybe 50 because he goes into like the raw material, how expensive it is. But Raw Nutrition, they seem to be growing, so they can, more money you have to put down, the more you can buy, which then you kind of get a better deal for the volume that you get. So you kind of get set in with that. So this is over at the naturalbodyinc.com. They're selling it. So this is 10% standardized for turkesterone, 500 milligrams. If you wanted to go with a more science-based video explaining more about turkesterone, Jeff Nippard goes into it a little bit alongside, you have other channels like, again, Derek, More Plates, More Dates. Those two channels, they'll bring up more scientific facts and reviews. They'll use PubMed, they'll use Google Scholar, they'll use journals, more academia to sift through proven or supportive evidence, anecdotal evidence, correlation, causation, such like that. So to kind of shift through people's biased opinions. So again, PricePlow.com, that kind of gives you an idea of like what's out there on the market with who they're affiliated with. So it's not going to have everything out there. I know Chemix, the Gorilla Chemist, he just put some turkesterone in his anabolic. So I think he replaced the lactosterone. So, the lactogenin. So then we can go to Examine.com. Again, we love Examine.com. It will tell you about the brass and the steroids. So this is, again, the turkesterone. Anything that's going to be a steroid, a chemical steroid base, like a structure, it's coming from a plant. This is it, right? So similar, we have the ectosteroids, which that's going to be like an insect. So kind of forming the structure of insect, kind of make them a little bit more resilient to the environment and to able to recover and to live maybe without like a leg, 2 legs, 3 legs. So stuff like that, but you can go down and really see like how this how this product really doesn't have that much backed research with evidence proving that or supporting that it may help overall muscle protein synthesis for every individual. Now again, every individual is totally different, so that brings me to my next point. This is a plant that is it's grown in different regions, right? And so we have environmental factors, and we have nutrition like herbs and animals that roam in different areas of the country, and it's kind of based upon how the culture is, so how that race and culture is. So for example, we have fairly pale skinned people living in areas where there's not much sun, just because we need to be able to get a lot of sun and absorb it. And so if we had too dark of skin, then you wouldn't be able to really absorb it. So now you would be really, really low vitamin D levels. Whereas in Africa and in Ecuador, they're going to be darker skinned, and it's going to help with preventing the sun damage, too much vitamin D, skin cancer, things like that. So it may reduce the risk. I mean, there's a reason why different areas around the world have different herbs or different foods, and it's really to help with that culture's genetics and that DNA. So whenever we look at anecdotal evidence of turkesterone, and again, for all of you listening on the podcast, with not viewing this, I'm just going to be going on Google Scholar as well, and they do bring up some of the evidence supporting the protein synthesizing, and also how it may be erythropoiesis stimulator, and this is due to the structure of its 11 alpha hydroxyl structure. So that's like the chemical structure of hydrogens, oxygens, bonds, and such. So as far as it being compared to, as it can be compared to like anabolic steroids that we have on the market, underground market, or even some that are given through wellness clinics or hospitals, right? So like Anavar, D-ball, well, not really D-ball. They don't give that to patients, but yeah, so like Anavar to like burn victims or people with muscle wasting diseases, even things like Anecdotal to help with increasing red blood cell count for those patients like AIDS patients and such. They're trying to compare the results very similar to that. I would say similar is a very tangible word there, and you can use it to your discretion. It's relative to how you respond to those drugs, right? And if you've ever even used them, because a lot of these people are talking about the comparisons and they probably never used the other drugs. So for example, like if Jeff Nippard, so he claims to be all natural, so he's going off of anecdotal. He's not going off anecdotal evidence. He's going off evidence that he reads from research papers, and just kind of connecting dots and making an assumption based upon that, rather than actually knowing the feel of real steroids versus turkesterone. And he hasn't taken turkesterone and doesn't think that's worth some money for it. So would that ruin his natural status? Probably, because if you really want natural turkesterone, then go eat the leaf and see if it really does something for you. Then you can claim natural, right? When you start taking these supplements that are going to be extracts, 10% extracts, which is higher than the studied, I believe they use like 5% or some 8% something, so it's going to be a lot less. And the doses will vary as well for body weight. When you start taking these man-made supplements and extracts, high extracts, you're no longer really natural, I guess. You're natural in a sense that you are not using, you can't say natural. Like you can say, I don't partake in anabolic steroids, right? So if you're competing in a natural division, so that would be cheating. But if you're competing in a non-natural federation or division, you are actually not cheating. You're just playing the game. So for example, like NPC, IFBB, if you take steroids, that's totally fine. It's not kind of encouraged based upon judging, right? So you're on the same playing field, right? You're all on the same level. So it's not it's not bad, not good nor bad, I guess. It's up to your opinion. So, some of the anecdotal evidence that we hear from like Greg Doucette and others, they're going to be based upon their users, their consumers, their loyal fans. And sometimes these people are going to be newbies into the gym. So people who have never had really a stimulus or have really worked on their diets and tracked food, their protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And so maybe this is the first time they're actually stimulating their muscles. They bought a real program. And they're going to follow the workout program regimen to the T. They're going to actually start increasing their protein content and actually track that and their carbohydrates and such. And and it's probably going to help their sleep as well. So now you have all these factors coming into play with the turkesterone. So that's where anecdotal evidence kind of gets this really murky, right? So you have a supplement that's been out since 1975. You have people that are using it that are going to be new into the industry, or these are people that are unable to eat a lot of protein, and maybe that might be older individuals because it's harder to sometimes eat more protein because the metabolism of protein is kind of satiating. So when we're older, sometimes it's a little bit more rough from my digestive issues. So due to a lot of different factors if it's not addressed. So turkesterone can help there. I think that's really a cool idea if it's supporting evidence is true and anecdotal evidence is true. I think that anything that can help with muscle protein synthesis is going to help assist you whenever you maybe are trying to correct your diet, improve gut integrity, because you might have to back off some food that your digestive system kind of get some rest, right? And so it might preserve some of the muscle mass or help you recover, help you grow, help muscular density, which is going to be good for older individuals. I believe this is going to be something for older individuals because assuming that it's not really harsh on the liver to digest and break down and to metabolize, and on same thing like with the kidneys. So as long as that's okay, and then I think that would be the route to go to help people maybe reduce the risk of bone fractures and also maintain their muscle mass, because that seems to be able to help the older generations be able to be functional, reduce the risk of injury, reduce the risk of Alzheimer's, increase their insulin sensitivity, all these things that help them live a healthier lifestyle. So the more muscle mass we have, the more protein that we eat, the more we can assimilate and synthesize, the better off we're going to be. Newbies into the gym, you can take it, that's fine, but it's going to be something that's going to dissipate after a while. And so you're going to continue to buy it. So if you have the extra income to buy that compared to maybe grass-fed, grass-finished beef, maybe things to help you like with getting your creatine in, maybe extra protein, those things like that, like maybe caffeine to get through your workout. I think turkesterone would be last on your list, depending on your financial status. And let's not lie to ourselves what our financial status is. So, so I think that pretty much hits all the points. Trying to like think off the top of my head, but yeah, there's no real supportive evidence coming from Google Scholar for human use, and again, it's going to be tough to see because there is so many factors. But again, I really do think that it's dependent upon the person's own genetics on how well they use some of these ingredients, and I really do believe that it is based on our genetic heritage and our lineage and where we're from, and because we're going to have different polymorphisms, or we're going to have different enzyme activity within our body, like our CYP activity, to break things down and metabolize things, to utilize things that we ingest and that comes from the earth. So it might be a little bit better to maybe see, this is something I'd like to see, like where's your lineage at? And then like, can they do a study, like an anecdotal evidence study, like to be like, hey, this person, these people around this area where it actually grows from, they are hyper responders, like they respond really well to it, and they actually maintain their lean muscle mass that they gained afterwards, and they kept their strength, whatever one you're chasing, because again, they didn't differentiate was this person taking testosterone while doing the strength gaining training program, or were they doing like a more hypertrophy bodybuilding lean mass and they don't really care about strength training program. So I would be really interested to see that. Like, hey, like, is it really the people who are from Siberia? Do they hyper respond to this? Like, versus people in in Europe, do they not really respond to it that well? And this is going to be more veteran people. And so you'd have to be like, hey, because we know that if you give something to a young person and we put them into the gym, it can be a sugar pill, and they eat right, they work out hard, they sleep well, they're going to have growth. That's just what's going to happen. And so I think it is fairly sophomoric to go by those anecdotal evidence. So hopefully made it past this or into this video. I'm trying to keep it short because it's just me here. Anyways, like, share, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think about Turkesterone. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Have you tried it? Have you tried Greg Doucette's? Have you tried Raw Nutrition? Have you tried Derek from More Plates, More Dates? Have you tried his? Kind of get a gathering of supportive evidence from all these users and see really what's going on. Pictures, weights, body weights, pictures and body weight updates are always going to help with these types of inquiry studies and gather information, because we need data, we need something, and so we need some numbers, we need some photos, we need some evidence, rather than people just saying whatever they say on Reddit. So that's it, leaving it there. Talk to you guys later.